what you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Wow. Wow. Welcome to the MG Show, where we are discovering the truth and learning about things together every day. The truth is learned, never told. Here we go. We got another great episode. But before we go any further, I got Shady back today. Friday, I didn't have Shady. I did it solo, and we talked about Alexis Wilkins and the Kash Patel honeypot defamation suit with Kyle Seraphin. Shady, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for affording me a little bit of personal time, everybody. I know that you noticed that I was away last week, and I was involved in something pretty cool, man, right down here in Southern Oregon. I was, and thanks to Jeff for encouraging me, by the way, because as you guys know, a year ago, I was able to quit smoking. And because I quit smoking, I set a goal that I was going to focus on getting better at golf because I wanted to compete playing golf. And guess what you encouraged me to do, Jeff?
Well, I encourage you, but you're like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? I'm like, why didn't you do it already, bro? Come on.
You don't have to throw all that in. You don't have to do that.
Oh, yeah. So I encouraged you.
You did. You did so good to encourage me. So I participated this year in the Southern Oregon Golf Championship, which is an amateur match play golf event that's been going on here in Southern Oregon for 96 years. That I just found out about 6 months ago. So I decided to play in it this year, which was 4 rounds in the last 4 days. Jeff, I went 3-1 in match play. Look at this.
That's good. Oh. You got your little trophy.
Look at you.
Look
junior,
at that.
senior. It says junior, senior, Jeff. This is not the senior division. Ninth flight winner.
But what are you?
I am Shady Groove.
Golfy Groove. Well, congratulations, Shady. I mean,
Thank
amazing.
you.
I know you set out a goal to do this, and you did it, bro. And you should be very proud of yourself. And I'm very happy that Alani was right there with you, like basically keeping you hydrated, making sure you had the right club, making sure that you did the right thing, making sure that everything went well for you. And that's awesome.
It was the two of us against the country club. 3 of the people that I beat were all 3 country club members, dude. So it's not good whenever it's like me and her were against like the whole damn place.
No. Hang on a second. You were from a country club. They introduced you.
Oh, yes, they did. It was I'm from Morningwood Country Club, sir.
Isn't that from what was that movie? Caddyshack. The Morningwood Golf Club. That's our Shady Groove, Golfy Groove, as Scottish Anon likes to call you now. But let's get into this, Shady Groove. So Friday, while you were gone, I know you watched the show.
I did.
I kind of broke down the former FBI agent Kyle Seraphin, who basically accused Director Kash Patel's girlfriend, FBI Director Kash Patel's girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, of being a honeypot, a Mossad Israeli spy honeypot due to being 20 years his junior. Like, it sounds like he's more butthurt than any factual information. And I kind of went through that Friday. Watch Friday's show if you didn't catch it. But having, she has a country music career. She's working as a conservative commentator and being friends with John Rich. Seraphin then went on a bashing spree. We'll play that. But I wanted to bring in somebody that basically might be a little closer to the situation than you might think. Yeah. So we've got, let me just make sure I say this right, because, he's been on Newsmax. He's been on many different shows. I think he was just on Guilfoyle's show as well, Kimberly. But he's basically a retired FBI supervisory special agent and town hall columnist, John Nantz. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, John. Great. Thank you for coming.
Hey, thank you for having me.
And it's Nantz. Okay,
that's right.
Screwed that all up.
That's right. Not Nance, Nantz.
I know. I was telling John too, all my trolls spell my last name wrong because I've got a different last name too. So I'm not a troll. I'm not trying to troll you. I just literally iPhone. But welcome to the show, John Nantz. Appreciate you coming on here. So. Let's get everybody a little caught up. Let's kind of, in case they didn't see Friday's show, in case they're not really looking at this, but Kyle Seraphin is a pretty big influencer on these Twitter spaces, and he's developing this narrative. I went back and kind of looked to see who really started this narrative and whatnot. And, it did bring in, like, Laura Loomer got involved with it. All these other different Russian weird bot account started it. Then it went to Reddit. Then it came here on X. And here we are. And now Kyle Seraphin is parroting this information as well. So what do you got? Like, what's your situational awareness? The site report on this?
Yeah. Well, the question is, where do you begin? So, the issue with Kyle and, abusive language toward women or conflicts with women goes all the way back to his FBI days. And the only reason why I can speak to this matter is because he loves to self-report. I'm not really sure what it is about his personality, but he loves to tell on himself. So you can go to his X account and you can look at all this stuff. So the Bureau, when you have personnel issues, policy infractions, you end up talking to the Office of Professional Responsibility. So, and we refer to that as OPR. So Kyle posted on X a lot of the OPR material that usually is very confidential, and allegations were made. EEOC complaints were filed by female employees back before he was suspended. So this is not something that's new for him, and was actually part of the FBI's reasoning behind suspending him. There were other factors that were at play also, but this verbal abuse of women, this goes back a long way. I don't know if people, maybe some people have followed this. If you know Kyle, that he got into a real dust up with Julie Kelly. Julie Kelly's a big influencer, kind of J6 reporter. And that centered around the Mar-a-Lago raid initially. And I don't agree with everything that Julie Kelly says. In fact, her assertions about, or her concerns about, the boilerplate language that was in the search warrant with regard to the use of force, I don't agree with that, her perspective on that. People also got fixated on the language, some of the language in the search warrant itself. The word engage was used, and some people were speculating that the FBI, because that word engage was used, was planning to shoot it out with the Secret Service, which is absolutely preposterous. Anybody in the law enforcement field knows that engage is often used to, hey, let's go have a conversation with our counterpart. That's all that meant. So anyway, that's kind of where that dust up with Julie Kelly came. Again, you can go to his X account. It's all there. He said some really nasty stuff about her, wished a cancer diagnosis on her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this has been an ongoing problem with Seraphin. I think people don't do their due diligence. They don't vet properly. And so people like him end up on platforms and saying things that they shouldn't be saying publicly.
I wanted to just show you this too. This is something that this is Kyle Seraphin saying, can we all agree that a fat boomer woman being one of the most powerful people in the world is peak absurdity? Good morning. I support Susie Wiles. She's been Trump also lauds her. Look at Melania in that picture, just adoring Susie Wiles and how well she's doing for the administration. Donald Trump has not said one bad word or even had any inkling that she's a bad person. I think she's the firewall to some of these intel agents that are trying to usurp President Donald J. Trump, in my opinion.
That's why they target her. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that very well may be the case, but to make a statement like that, a public statement like that, that should preclude you from political discourse. I just don't. There shouldn't be any room for that kind of hate-filled rhetoric in our public spaces. So the fact that he has a 220 something thousand follower count on X, to me is a problem. But in terms of the suit itself, I mean, the stuff that is alleged in the suit is just, it's incredible. I mean, he basically, I mean, I can read part of what is in the complaint itself. Anybody can go take a look at the complaint. It's about 8 pages long, and he makes one statement in particular. He says, like, she's really looking for like a cross-eyed, kind of thickish built, super cool bro who's almost 50 years old, who's Indian in America.
What?
I mean, it's astounding. Hey, how about replace the word Indian with black?
Wow.
Yeah.
And you would have politicians, you would have cultural
Everybody.
influencer icons, raining down, fire and brimstone on this guy just for that one statement. And that is just one sentence out of a big paragraph.
Yeah.
And people can go to his podcast.
Let's go ahead and watch that. I got it right here.
Yeah.
Right. You want to watch it right here? So this
Sure.
is
Let's show
this is
them. Yep.
this is the Kyle Seraphin show, and this is word for word in the complaint that John Nantz was talking about. Check it out.
Right, but she totally wasn't a honeypot. Like, she's an undercover operative, like doing totally legit things. The fact is, this woman was apparently at a fairly high level in the CI program. She was either an assistant section chief or a section chief, which is a truly problematic thing. And Kash Patel takes umbrage with the word honeypot, not anything else. He's had his own little honeypot issue that's been going on of late, so we're just going to acknowledge it real publicly. He's got a girlfriend that's half his age, who apparently is both a country music singer, a political commentator on Rumble, a friend now of John Rich through Bongino, who also owns a big chunk of Rumble, and she's also a former Mossad agent in what is like the equivalent of their NSA. But I'm sure that's totally because like she's really looking for like a cross-eyed, kind of thickish built, super cool bro who's almost 50 years old, who's Indian in America. Like, it has nothing to do with the fact that we're really close to the Trump administration. Anyway, I'm sure that that's totally just like love. That's what real love looks like. That's why Kash Patel's in his 40s and lives with a man in Las Vegas full time. Totally regular, no big deal. I'm just saying it's interesting that he decided to go and take umbrage with this, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's so wild, Steve, because it actually goes to the thing that was stated earlier, and it ties into the Epstein situation. The New York field office and the New York mafia, which I will have you explain in your terms in a second, because I'm sure you've experienced it differently. The New York mafia in the FBI got Kash Patel's ear almost immediately, supplanted our recommendation for a good deputy director, to his detriment, I think, and then started whispering sweet nothings like, that chick is not a honeypot, you need to do these things, and managed to basically discredit him by punching out a bunch of fake information that made Bondi look terrible, and I think actually is going to bring down the deputy director time of Dan Bongino. I think.
Interesting. So to me, I mean, this is what I think. It sounded like he's a butthurt. Either he wanted to date Alexis Wilkins and he's mad, or he wants to be in the FBI and he didn't get it, or there's no evidence. So the evidence that he brings up, and correct me if I'm wrong, is basically that Alexis worked with Prager University, and then lo and behold, the CEO of Prager University did have Israeli intelligence ties. So now that means that Alexis is Mossad, right? Is that what he's basically trying to connect those dots? It does not mean anything really. It's just a loose connection, grasping at straws, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's his sophomore attempt at logic and reasoning. So, look, I worked counterintelligence cases for about 3.5 years when I was in the bureau, and the Mossad is a internationally regarded intelligence agency. I mean, they're incredibly meticulous. Some of this reporting, quote unquote, I heard during the Megyn Kelly interview that Alexis did a little while back, and Megyn was playing clips of individuals that were using Chat GPT to do their investigative reporting.
Oh my God.
So, it's absurd. But the point I want to make about that, they talk about these suspicious gaps in her history. They talk about her working at Prager. Look, if she were a Mossad asset, all that stuff would be fully backstopped. You don't have gaps in history. They wouldn't be putting her at Prager, where they have a former Israeli intelligence employee. It's just
they would expose
stupid.
her.
What's that?
It would expose her.
Of course, the association would lead to this kind of speculation, right? So, do you want a highly placed asset in proximity to a known former intelligence operative? Of course not. It's just stupid. So anybody that understands the intelligence game, they don't call it the Hall of Mirrors for no reason. These things are well thought out beforehand. Assets that are, that would potentially be of such importance, right? If this allegation, if we grant for the sake of argument that the allegation is true, somebody of that importance right next to the FBI director would be highly backstopped. You'd have
But she
nothing
totally
like
wasn't
this.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that perspective is absurd on its face.
And also, you would have to think that everybody wants to make all their little opinions out there and say this and say that. More than likely, she wouldn't be bringing a defamation case if she were guilty of what he was charging her for right now. I mean, she's pretty strong in standing up to him to say, you're gonna put those words back somewhere else, and I'm gonna take it to court with you to sue him straight up for defamation for doing that, because you're talking about someone who's trying to make it in the country music business. I mean, you're like, this is the heart of Americana, and you're going to be like going out there on your dumb podcast and smearing this nice person as like a Mossad Israeli intelligence agent whenever there's no real association whatsoever. It's absolutely insane. And it really goes to show to all of the other narratives that are out there about people like Susie and Dan and Kash and all this other stuff that's going on.
Pam Bondi.
Yeah, Pam, right, exactly.
Yeah, and there's a whole network in lockstep with that. We'll save that for another time. But Cupid's Cowgirl 64 says, I worked at a liberal college. It was a job. Doesn't make me a liberal. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I use the analogy too. Shady and I went and spoke at in an event, and it doesn't make us that event, but they made us that event. So
Made it seem like we were that.
They use these loose terms like John, if you go to Shell gas station, does that make you Shell gas station?
Well, of course not.
And that's exactly what these people are trying to do. And, when you're sitting here on X, or formerly known as Twitter, you start latching on to these stupid narratives, and it really creates chaos in your brain, and it takes away from supporting Donald J. Trump. This is a Trump movement, right? Trump picked Kash Patel. Kash Patel picked Dan Bongino. I'm not a huge Dan Bongino fan, but I'm actually loving what he's doing right now. He just posted today about 764, and that BX has been talking about that for years, and that drew criticism towards her, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another point. Kyle, for some really weird kind of unknown reason, right out of the blue, starts attacking. She's known as BX on X, her first name's Becca anyway. But and actually, I interviewed her for a town hall column not long ago on the 764 issue. But kind of out of the blue, and that's really her statement. Out of the blue, he just starts attacking her with regard to the 764 issue, and basically saying that that's not an FBI priority and the Bureau doesn't care, and you're, blowing this out of proportion, whatever it was he said exactly. And then I don't think it was a week later that Bongino and Patel both on X made the statement that the 764 child trafficking network is a high priority for the FBI. So it's just very odd. Very odd how that kind of came out of the blue, but again, extremely abusive toward BX. You can go to her account. She actually has a recorded phone conversation between Kyle Seraphin and another individual that is very revealing. I'll just leave it at that. So if folks are interested in that, they can go to her account, BX on X. Some really interesting stuff. Let me circle back a little bit. You were talking about how Alexis seems pretty confident in this suit. Well, the Banal Law Group is representing her. And I think what's really interesting, and it's at the bottom of the complaint, they're requesting a jury trial. I think that goes to her attorney's confidence in her suit because, requesting a jury trial, juries can be rather mercurial. So you don't do that unless you really think that you've got an airtight case. So I can't imagine what they're going to parade in front of that jury. All they have to do is just go in and grab screenshots from Kyle's X account, and any female on that jury is most likely going to find in Miss Wilkins' favor. So, kudos to her for standing up to this. Kyle has been abusive to many women. I mentioned Julie Kelly. I mean, you saw what he posted about Susie Wiles. So I think she is she's doing the right thing.
We also had a listener too, and somebody, Ada Nestor, I believe her name is, pointing out that he says very bad things to women. I've got another one here from a listener. It says, I've heard Kyle speak on Spaces many times, unfortunately. 1, people treat him like the almighty one, Mr. FBI. 2, he's a total narcissist and just a total a-hole. 3, he says Bongino begged him to come out as a whistleblower on his show and then later threw him under the bus. He hates Kash, saying that he's a GAY playboy, jetting around in his private jet and knows nothing about his job or the FBI. He also says that Kash and Dan were conferring with him who the bad FBI, bad people in the FBI were in the beginning, but ignoring all of his advice. So he's, again, that sounds like somebody else that we've been reporting on as well. And you guys in chat know who I'm talking about, but I'm not bringing that up in the conversation. But it sounds like this operation of trying to discredit Trump by falsely slandering possibly, people is a way to create division. And it sounds like what's happening on X is actually kind of happening within the FBI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really odd. We don't see these kind of attacks leveled at the CIA or DHS or whatever, at least not these seemingly coordinated sort of efforts. But I fully support Kash Patel and what he's doing. I support the reform efforts that Dan Bongino is involved with at the FBI. Dan and I haven't always seen eye to eye on things. In fact, we got a little sideways over the Seraphin issue several years ago when after Kyle's first appearance on Dan's show, and I reached out to him privately. I DM'd Dan. And I said, look, first of all, I'm not interested in being on your show, but I know this individual and I'd like to have a conversation. I think you need a different perspective on this matter. So we got a little sideways over that. But I respect what Bongino's trying to do at the FBI. I fully support reform at the FBI. The FBI is in critical need of reform. I think the things that Patel has been doing is very constructive. Have all the politicized investigations stopped overnight? You've got the FBI back to doing the job that it was intended to do. I like Patel's sort of catchphrase, letting good cops be good cops, and that seems to be what he's accomplishing. So support him. And look, frankly, here's the bottom line with this. If you're MAGA, if you're a Trump supporter, if you voted for Trump, these are his nominees. Yeah. When we were kind of in the bad old days of Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, and Christopher Wray, or even, a lot of the criticism leveled at the FBI. Okay, sure, fair point, right? J6, Russia, all that, the Mar-a-Lago raid, all that garbage, right? Look, this is a different day. And these attacks don't smell like patriotism to me anymore. They smell a whole lot like subversion. So, people need to people need to get away from being headline thinkers. That's what X, promotes. That's what the social media, puts you in that mindset. Oh, let's grab the headline, look at the headline. People need to think, engage their minds. These are the people that Donald Trump nominated. These are Kash Patel is what's the title of the book he wrote?
Government gangsters.
Government
Yep.
gangsters. Yes. I saw this a little bit, a little while back. I'm not sure exactly who made some of these statements, but we're supposed to believe that the guy who wrote Government Gangsters, that Dan Bongino, one of the harshest critics of the FBI, a week after they set foot in headquarters, are immediately co-opted by the deep state. That's what we're supposed to believe. Give me a break. These are the same people. And this allegation about, the New York mafia. Well, number one, neither Kyle Seraphin or Steve Friend were ever assigned to the New York office. And by the way, people need to take note that Steve Friend, who has just been reinstated, was sitting there nodding and laughing while Kyle is making these horrendous statements about the FBI director and Miss Wilkins. So people should take note of that.
Like he didn't say, "Oh, come on, Kyle, that's ridiculous," or anything like that. And that was Steve Friend with Kyle on the clip we just played. Yes. So how well do you know Kyle? Like you actually know Kyle. I mean, you're not just like, "Oh, Kyle's just some guy in the FBI and I worked in the FBI too." You actually know Kyle, don't you?
Yeah, I was his supervisor when he was assigned to the Special Operations Group. So I know Kyle, yeah.
Yeah. So he knows Kyle, guys. All right. So I just want you to understand that, John, thank you, for coming on the show. And so with Stephen Friend, maybe he's just trying to be quiet because he's been reinstated. What's your take on him?
Well, look, people try to insulate Steve Friend, Garrett O'Boyle, some of these other individuals from Kyle Seraphin, but they're all part of this group that they've, called the Suspendables, right? So, look, all of these guys have been, and you don't have to take my word for it. Go to their X account and look at their feeds. They have spent 2 years, militating for the abolishment of the FBI. Steve Friend wrote this piece that was published in the Federalist, arguing for the disarming FBI agents, right? He's been out there calling retired pensions blood money, but all that doesn't seem to bother him now that he's been reinstated. So, these guys are kind of all birds of a feather. So again, this is all very public information that they have spent years promulgating on X.
Yeah. And wasn't there some interaction like when Kyle first came out, he was associated with Cash's foundation, and there was some help that Cash lended him. And it wasn't that Kyle that I'm remembering, or am I misremembering that?
No, you were remembering that exactly right. And it wasn't just Kyle. The foundation supported Friend, and I think the foundation also supported Garrett O'Boyle. I think that's the case. I'm not 100% positive, but here, look, again, let's look at the facts, right? So Kash Patel, prior to becoming the FBI director, was extremely supportive of Kyle Seraphin, of Steve Friend, of Garrett O'Boyle. His foundation supported them financially. He gets confirmed. He gets to headquarters. All of a sudden, you have complete radio silence, and this goes back to my point. This is still the guy that wrote Government Gangsters, right?
Yeah.
So prior to him seeing behind the curtain, he was a big supporter. Subsequent to him seeing behind the curtain, we have radio silence.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just the facts. People can draw their own conclusions, and that's as far as I'm going to go. But people ought to think long and hard about that, the fact that Dan Bongino did not come out and support. Let me mention this. This is related to all that. Steven Jensen. People, are you guys familiar with Steven Jensen, the guy who was promoted to the ADIC position at Washington field office?
I'm
No.
not sure if I am.
Not really. Okay.
No, sir.
So Steven Jensen is a pretty controversial figure, only for people who don't know him or don't know the facts surrounding him. He was hand selected by Kash Patel. Both Kash Patel and Bongino gave him their full-throated support and endorsement. So they make him the top guy at the Washington field office, which is a pretty significant field office because you're right there in the national capital region. You tend to, there are a lot of very important cases that get run out of that office, and they had very specific reasons for doing that. Well, Jensen is maligned viciously for an alleged role in January 6th that he did not have a part in. And this goes back to testimony from another quote-unquote whistleblower called George Hill. Hill alleges that he overheard a conversation, or he was part of a big call. It's called a civets call. It's basically kind of like a secure, huge kind of teleconference, right? And he alleges literally thousands of people were part of this call. So long story short, Richmond Division was asking Jensen, who was a section chief at headquarters at the time over domestic terrorism, and they basically, and Hill alleges that he heard Jensen say, "I don't give a GD about these J6 defendants. We're going after them," words to that effect. Not one person has come forward to corroborate Hill's story. That was testimony from 2 years ago based on his recollection of 2 years prior to that. In fact, everyone that I've talked to, multiple people that know Jensen, have never heard him use profanity ever. He's the kind of guy, in fact, he ended up going from that section chief position, taking a lateral, technically it was a lateral transfer to Quantico, but in practical terms, it was a demotion because he stood against some of the J6 overreach stuff. So,
that doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. And what you have is this constant undermining, right?
Yep.
From Seraphin and the rest of his crew, continuing to attack Jensen. In fact, Jensen was one of the ones that was dismissed, summarily dismissed not long ago. And Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have never withdrawn their support of Jensen. So I say all that to say this: sometimes what isn't said speaks volumes and speaks more than often what is said. So people need to pay attention to that stuff.
Absolutely. And by the way, don't forget, go get that book, Government Gangsters. And I just want to point out that I've got my signed copy to Jeffrey. Thank you for your support and great show. In the Matrix MG show, Kash Patel, right there, guys. And I support Kash Patel. And I also, again, we came out a little bit against, Bongino as well. But I do like what he's doing now. I think, he might have gotten a wake-up call because, obviously he looks, he's like acting a little bit different too. And by the way, in regards to 764 and Order of Nine Angles and BX on Twitter, Dan Bongino reported today that they got a 764 gang member, guys.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There is no satanic pedophile cult. Yes, there is. And it's called 764 in the Order of Nine Angles. And maybe, BX is over the target. Pretty interesting.
It's also interesting to note that we've been able to make a couple of connections to Order of Nine Angles and Matthew Crooks and what was going on in the background of the shooter and his connections to possibly 764 and the Discord servers connections to higher ups in the military. Okay. So, you were talking about J6 and everybody wants to call, and I think you're making an interesting point there, John, because you're saying that all these people are out there screaming, let's shut down the FBI. Let's throw it all out. It's worth it. Well, the FBI would be the only place that could get to the bottom of any of this nonsense, unless you're going to rely on the military to investigate it somehow. So it's very interesting that all the perps, quote unquote, that we think we could see kind of are out there operating, in this InfoWars type atmosphere where they liquefy reality for everybody. So nobody really knows what's going on. And the next thing you know, they can interject all of these narratives left and right. I think that the 764 has a much broader connection on the worldwide stage to our, People that are higher up in the military. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, interesting. Real quick, let me just do this real quick. Yeti, we're just going to go to my screen here. Set your clocks, mark your calendars, and buckle up the best NFL primetime football action starting on September 4th. It's coming up on Westwood One. You can catch all the bone-crushing hits, last-second heroics, and edge-of-your-seat action that the NFL Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights have to offer. Whether you're tailgating, chilling at home, don't miss a single snap. Listen on the NFL app, the Westwood One Sports app, at westwoodonesports.com, or just say ALEXA. Open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Now, you guys can watch football, but make sure you do a little bit of your own research too, guys. Come on, guys. Let's do this.
And also, I think that you're making some great connections there, sir, to the way that the Jensen's being treated, because I think our audience can see that this is a very similar pattern. Okay, these patterns are coming from three main sources: the Alex Jones crew, the General Flynn crew, and then the whole Twitter Spaces crew, Ivan Rick, all these people. Like, they're all generating all of this nonsense at the same time. And then whenever somebody comes in that has information that actually counters what it is that their goofy perspective is, then they spin it around on you and they come at you and they try to proclaim that you're doing all these different things when the only thing you're doing is trying to have a conversation about something you can clearly see.
Yeah, there's an obvious coordinated effort.
Yes.
For sure. So, John, we got the Kyle Seraphin thing. It looks like he just reposted Erica Knight is Kash Patel's PR person. She has some oddly specific things to say in July of this year. So he's doubling down. He's not ceasing and desisting in any way, is he?
Yeah, no, he won't quit. He won't go away. He'll continue with this narrative to whatever self-destructive ends it leads him to. That's just who the guy is. Erica Knight is Kash Patel's communications director. Someone sent that post to me. It's really absurd. It's very bizarre. She was describing the use of the honeypot terminology, and I think Seraphin was trying to turn it around and allege that Erica Knight was somehow legitimizing the honeypot
theory
language. Yeah, it's really weird and bizarre. I'm not really sure what the point of that was, but Erica Knight is a professional, accomplished woman, and I respect her. A lot of people highly respect her. So that's just
I'm encouraged that Alexis that she is taking this to, like, the idea that they are requesting this be taken to a jury trial. You see, most defamation cases, everybody, they get like somebody like levies a defamation case against somebody. They're trying to get a payout. They're trying to say, okay, well, let's settle this out of court. You say, okay, I'm going to give you $300,000. You shut the hell up. That's the way that most defamation cases work. This right here, you can clearly tell, is completely different if this is the angle that they're taking, because they are wanting to, quote unquote, clear her name, is what I read this as. Like, this is going to be, they're like, we don't want this old sneaky, you pay me this and I go away. No. This man has done this. He's already, the acts are broad. You can see him clearly. We're taking him to the mat.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad to see that they've requested a jury trial. We'll see what the judge does with it. Eventually, once this is concluded, it should be public information. And I think you're exactly right. I think the objective is Alexis wants her name cleared. She wants justice to be done. This isn't so much about the money.
Right.
I mean, the money, man. They're asking for a minimum of $5 million in damages. So
that's good.
Kyle's got a lot to worry about.
He does. And people are still following that guy. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And, I just, when I watch that clip and hear, the defamatory statements, I don't hear any proof. I don't, bring proof, like that was all just like, it sounded like he was butthurt again. Like I said, like he's not in the FBI right now. He's upset. Bongino, because he thought he had Bongino's ear. Maybe he doesn't now because he knows who's who. And it just sounds like a little bit of like, a scorned girlfriend in a way.
Well,
Yeah.
he and Bongino had a little falling out, not just him, but some of the other whistleblowers, and it was over the Julie Kelly stuff. So
Okay.
Bongino saw all that. You can go to Bongino's account. It's kind of back a good ways, but he doesn't name him, but he talks about these FBI whistleblowers and one that he had, platformed, and that was a mistake. Bongino kind of copped to that, which I respect him for that. One thing I do want to say, you kind of touched on some of the language with regard to cut. So these are declarative statements, right? This isn't. I've seen some stuff like,
Right.
well, I was just asking questions or
Nope.
whatever. No, that's not what's going on here. These are declarative statements that he wanted to make, quote unquote, public. He makes a point of that. People really should go read the complaint. It is quite enlightening. And it's not long. It's not really packed full of legalese. Like I said, it's about 5 pages, but there's a big paragraph in there, and the clip that you played isn't all of it. There's a lot more in that paragraph that's in the complaint.
Wow.
And it's just very interesting that what they do, because what they're doing is that they're trying to stand on some sort of substance, like they have clout on because you're an FBI whistleblower, you have you have some sort of credibility. But the reality of the situation is, the proof is with these people that they have a platform. That's really all that they're doing. Like the Alex Jones stuff and the InfoWars stuff, they have a platform, and so they're just utilizing this platform to jam anything that they can jam in it down your throat, depending on who it is that they perceive as an enemy to their good position in life or whatever it is. And so, I see Kyle personally. I don't know what you think about this, but I kind of see Kyle as someone like this is an operation, this guy's not really a whistleblower. The FBI is like, oh, well, you go out there and you say you found this and you found that. And then we insert you into MAGA. We insert you into the Republicans. We insert you into the conservatives. Very similar to what I consider the whole Flynn operation was. Being inserted in is the same thing. It doesn't matter where you come from. And I think that this has a lot to do with it, guys. I think this is the way they gin up credibility. And then all of a sudden you've got all these people that will listen to you and think you have credibility.
So,
well,
yes.
Look, I respect your opinion, but calling Kyle an op is giving him way too much credit.
Understood.
Right? Yeah. So, the FBI would not be using Kyle Seraphin as an op, so to speak. So,
understood.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that theory.
And like I said, I'm just the way that things look from the outside, and I have no connection to anything in government or exactly how things in government work. But whenever people see these different people, and they just automatically it's like a moth to a flame almost. It's like we were talking about the psychological operations, the way that people they get desperate to understand something and they grab to whatever is right there. And so it might be other people that he's working for.
Yeah, so we were kind of just not really going to go there in this show, but that's cool. I think it's a military civilian operation. Okay, I don't think it has the FBI involved at all.
I agree with that.
Let's just table that because we're here to talk about Kyle with John. So let's just make sure. Yeah.
Well, look, there is coordination, right? There's coordination, yes. but I think it's a commonality of interest. That's how I see it. Like you have individuals like Kyle. Other people, like the J6 community. I mean, you have a lot of people that are very, and rightly so, very angry about how they were treated and about how things, came or how investigations were conducted and how prosecutions came about from DOJ. So I get that. So there's a lot of commonality of interest, and Kyle and people like him have tapped into that. But people have to be careful to not become pawns, right? Pawns in personal interest. So I think I think you have a nexus of personal interests. I don't see there is no government involvement when it comes to Seraphin. That's my personal opinion.
I agree with that. So that actually lines up with what we're also saying, but it's all theory. We don't have any, we're just theorizing with you.
Well, I know he's guilty of saying the things that he said about her.
Yes, he is.
We see he clearly said that, and also I've listened
Seems
to
to
this
be.
guy in these spaces, and he's very crude. You could be you could be a decent, you can make a point, you can make a rough, crude point, and be nice about it to someone who doesn't understand. And the way that he talks down to every single human being that disagrees with him is just insane.
Yeah, it's also the playbook.
It is the playbook.
Yeah. I
Well,
want to
people-
thank, go ahead, real quick. I just want to thank all the people. Thank you for clothing our people, getting their red castles on Rumble. You hit the gift button, and I see we got a couple naked people in there. So if you want to clothe them and give them a red castle, thank you very much. I think this channel and this chat right here has the most red castles of any Rumble channel. We appreciate you.
Everybody in the chat's a subscriber.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, John, where did you want to go from this? Because we're wrapping up on the hour here. What are you thinking? Just in general, too. Do you have any other thoughts to wrap this conversation up, and then do you want to bring up anything else that's on your radar?
Well, I hope Alexis is successful in winning her suit.
Me too, yeah.
And really, frankly, I think that guys like Kyle, I think they would be so much happier if they would just go get a real job. Leave the commentary to other people, serious thinkers. Kyle has limited experience with the Bureau. I think he was in maybe 5.5, maybe 6 years at the most. I think that he and his family would be just, much better off if he would just pursue a legitimate career as opposed to trying to be the next Dan Bongino or the next Alex Jones.
Well, and speaking of that, too, Kyle was on Alex Jones on Wednesday, the same day Owen Schroyer left. I thought that was a pretty interesting little
How does that line up?
tidbit, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what to make of that. I've heard some different things with regard to that. But it is an interesting coincidence, right? So, here, people need to think about this too. So Kyle was involved, and this is what James O'Keefe alleges, that Kyle was involved in the Project Veritas coup. So guys like Alex Jones might want to consider that, before bringing someone like into their organization. So you go to James O'Keefe's account and you can see all of that there. So it's Kyle was deposed, I think, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago with regard to that matter. So interesting stuff there too.
So Kyle was involved with that infiltration, possibly, or that I don't know what you want to call it, but that is very interesting. James O'Keefe.
Just look at the way that all of this stuff, like I said, their idea is to liquefy reality. They're made to make it so hard for people, average ordinary person that gets up every day to go to work, to figure out what the hell is going on. It's like you're waking up and you got all these people like acting like they're MAGA, completely attacking Donald Trump over this nonsense. And it's like, now they're trickling down to like John said, Trump picked his nominees. We should support the people that Donald Trump picked. Obviously, we can criticize whatever we have to criticize, but the idea that you just come out and undermine them just because they're associated with, that's what he's doing, and it's not good.
Yeah. So we wish Alexis Wilkins very good luck, and also Kash Patel as well. And again, we support Kash Patel here on this radio show or video show or whatever you want to call us. John, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you had fun here.
Was that any good?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun, actually.
John just found us, guys.
He just found us. Real quick, too, let me bring this up. So, not is Kyle Seraphin sexist, he is racist, too. Disgusting. Good for Alexis Wilkins for standing up for Kyle's bullying. This is very interesting. Kelly J. Walker's Freedom Talk. Kyle, we only just met, but I want to tell you, I know Alexis and her mom. They are good people and Christian, going back for generations. The rumors have done a lot of damage to them emotionally, and I'm asking you to rescind your comments. It would be the right thing to do. We haven't met. I don't know you, and I don't give a F about what you think. Thanks for your input. I mean, that's the kind of stuff this guy does.
Some people are just regular Americans, guys.
Yeah, some people are just regular Americans, and because she worked at PragerU and somebody else was former intel for Israel, it doesn't make her that. That's what people got to get. I think this audience understands, how people are making stretch connections to vilify other people. I see Laura Loomer do it quite a bit. Sometimes she's right. A lot of times she's wrong. but that's just my opinion. John, thank you very much for coming on the MG show.
We got to get people over to his Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, okay, let me spell his name right because
you better do it right this
that
time.
up. So it's
or he won't come back. John, will you come back and see us or no? Because he messed up the name. Will you come back or did he offend you?
Oh, no, I'd be happy to come back.
All right.
We appreciate you. It's the John Nantz, Nantz, the John Nantz, Nantz, not Nancy, not Nancy, Nantz.
No little letter over the thing.
You know what's funny is because I feel bad that I messed up your name because I have a weird last name and I get mad when people misspell mine. Not mad, but you know what I'm saying. Like, well, you even said that you even misspell your name sometimes. How funny is that?
That's not good.
I never said that. I didn't say I misspell my name.
I can neither confirm nor deny it. No, but it's like the iPhone. It changes stuff on me all the time. Even the iPhone still doesn't know how to spell my own last name. Even my iPhone can't spell my name correctly.
It'll jump like words that like you're not even trying to put in, and the next thing you know, the whole sentence is completely restructured. You sent it. You're like, what the hell is that?
It's so funny. Well, John, we really appreciated you coming on today to kind of, because we reported on it Friday. I think you enjoyed that report Friday. That's how you kind of found us.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Thank you very much. So if you missed that show on Friday, go ahead and go back to our Rumble and look at the FBI, Alexis Wilkins, that show that I did Friday. You might want to see it. John Nantz, thank you so much. Keep up the good fight. We appreciate you. Sir. And, God bless.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's time for people to start standing up. And this is really happening.
Yeah, and just like, using their common sense,
And
I mean, people
need
say bullshit all the time, Shady. People are just spewing bullshit all the time, and it's getting old.
Well, that's all they have, okay? And that is, go ahead.
I blame Jim Jordan in some respects because this stuff goes back, to the whistleblower hearings, right? And just because you're a whistleblower doesn't mean you're a white hat. Sometimes these guys don't get vetted maybe the way they should be. So people need to dig deeper, draw their own conclusions, and don't be reliant on someone else's vetting when it comes to anybody. Frankly, do your own homework.
Do your own diligence, and I don't trust us. Look me up, look us up, and don't believe us. Believe yourself. Do your own research. In fact, John, if we could get everybody just to do their own research, I know people don't have a lot of time, right? But do it. Do your own research. That's one of the things. The truth is learned, never told. How is the truth learned? You doing your own research.
That's exactly right, and
that's amazing.
That's how we've ended up with Donald Trump, is because enough people did their own research and they realized that all of the stuff that the media was saying wasn't real. I mean, Jeff, we've got, the situation in the media landscape where, CNN's getting 100,000 people. Howard Stern.
We get more than CNN.
They're saying Howard Stern is getting 120,000 listeners now. I mean, guys, like the media landscape that you knew when you were growing up is dead. It's up to all of us to carry the mantle for America from here out. Patriots.
Hey,
we are the news now.
If I can say something more on a positive note, look, if you're looking for a real whistleblower to listen to, and she doesn't even like to be called a whistleblower, it's Nicole Parker. She's on Fox News. She's I think she's contracted with them and speaks all the time. She's a solid person. She's got real work experience. You want to listen to a whistleblower, you can listen to Nicole Parker. She testified before Congress. That was one of Jim Jordan's good picks. And look, I'm not trying to beat up on Jim Jordan. I respect him and I like him. But I think some things kind of slipped under the radar. But Nicole Parker, she's on X and Instagram and all that. If you're looking to follow someone like that.
All right, awesome. We will look into her as well, guys. Wow. So this was a really good interview, man. Thanks for popping back in. We appreciate you. Yeah, big time. And
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we're going to be going to a commercial break here in 30 seconds. John, the John Nantz, Nantz, okay? That's a note for me. Nantz, the John Nantz on X. Make sure you go over there and tell him the MG show sent you as well, so he knows how big we are over there.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be good. Now you're going to get some comments.
Yeah, let's do it. The MG show sent me. Tell John, let him know. The John, Nantz. And we will be right back after these beautiful boom messages.
Boom. all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's a 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received the generous $500 donation from Spill Tea, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20%, and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble, and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to find out how quickly the society can turn against one, and I'm talking seriously here, stand up and tell the truth about just anything that you want to stand up and tell the truth about. It scares the living daylights out of everyone. And so the first thing that happens is you find out who your friends are and who your friends are not, because there's a great weeding out there. And it's not anything that you do on your part or that I've done on my part. They just disappear. And you find very quickly that people are afraid to be around you because they can see the government being upset about what you're talking about, and they can see repercussions coming, and of course they have happened and will continue to happen. And ultimately, I really believe that there will be some kind of a terminal point where they decide that they're not just not going to put up with this pest anymore, and that's going to be the end of me. We have been literally financially in the ditch. We have found it impossible to get any kind of a normal job with anyone who knows anything about what I do. You can't go to church, you can't go to cocktail parties because everybody else is sitting around talking about the weather or, oh, what school did you go to? And when you have done the research and arrived at some of the answers that I know to be true now, those people become like kindergarten children. They're not in the real world, and I can't engage in that kind of a conversation. So you really find yourself in another world that has nothing to do with all of the rest of the people who are running around engaged in their activities that they think are so important then. And to them, they really are. But to me, they've lost the reality of what really is important, and they're about to lose their freedom to even discover those things at this point.
I'll ask you a last question, and that is, how would you like to be seen or remembered in future years when people look back and you think about the thrust of your work? What is it that you would like to be best remembered for?
I think I would like to be remembered like Paul Revere was remembered, at a time when it was needed and nobody else would do it. I got on my horse and rode through the night and said, the British are coming. That's all. I'm not looking for any fame or any fortune. You certainly don't get rich doing what I'm doing. And infamous is probably the real word that describes what happens to you as far as public recognition in a world where political correctness is the theme of the day. You just don't do what I'm doing. So if anybody wants to remember me, I would certainly be pleased if they just remembered I did what was the responsible and the right thing to do at a time when nobody else had the guts to do it.
God bless you.
Tick, tick, boom.
Yeah.
We're bringing the noise. Go, baby, we bringing our toys.
God bless you, Bill Cooper. My gosh, I love that. And it's true. Tell the truth, okay? Do something really out of convention. Tell the truth. None of these damn psyops anymore. We're done with them. We are psyop slayers right here on the MG Show, and you are too, because you think for yourself. And God bless you all for following us on the MG Show. Shady, wow. I want to just show something else that was brought to my attention here. Check this out, Shady Groove. This is Kyle Seraphin an hour ago. Trump was lied to, and he believed it. We were all lied to, and many of us immediately saw it was a lie. How is this a Team Trump winner? Inability to perceive deception isn't what should be cheering in for the president. We already had Joe Biden. Does that sound like a positive pro-Trump post?
Wow, boy, oh boy, the gloves are coming off.
Yep. And then we got, you want people to watch your podcast? Quit going against POTUS. I'm perceiving deception and slight smell of poop on your upper lip. Wannabe FBI.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, but look at that though, man. Doesn't that speak volumes, guys? Doesn't that speak volumes of who this person is and what exactly has been going on and who is in support roles of all of these BS narratives, man? I mean, I'm telling you, I'm so sick of it. Everybody acts like they have a better insight than the president of the United States. Now they're all like out there, screaming that he's that he's been replaced, that it's a clone, that it's a different Trump, and all this stupid stuff. It's like they are so desperate, guys. They are so desperate for relevance because remember when Donald Trump said something, Jeff? He said something very crucial to us. He said, "Success is going to be our retribution." What did he mean by that? Are you starting to see what he means by that? What he means by that is we are going to win so much, the losers are going to be clearly marked as such.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So losers can't win. It's like physics. A loser can't win. So because a loser can't win, they will never win. Therefore, all you have to do is win, and you will show everybody what a loser is. And so they sit around and pretend like they're running laps and acting like they're winners all the time, when the reality of the situation is they've got no ground to stand on. They can't come after Pam Bondi. They can't come after Kash Patel. They can't come after Dan Bongino. They really can't do any. Susie Wiles, all of these things, the narratives they've tried to build, not enough people have glommed onto them to make them relevant. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're in their own little echo chamber, too.
Correct.
Let's go ahead. This is BX_on_X, okay? I'm always thrilled when Dan tweets about 764 arrests, but I also think it's time to address the elephant in the room. 764 members are finally starting to get sentenced in court, and their sentences are not nearly long enough. And she's calling for Bongino and Pam Bondi to start acknowledging that these particular offenders are far more dangerous than most others charged with child pornography crimes. We need terrorism enhancements and mandatory minimums. We need life sentences on the table for all members of 764 and related groups. I actually agree with that, Shady Groove. But look at this. Dan Bongino, just before our show today at 7:17 a.m., posted this. Downey man accused of child pornography. FBI links him to extremist groups. This is a 27-year-old from Downey had been arrested on federal charges possessing child pornography after authorities linked him to an online extremist group, okay, according to court records. Dong Hwan Kim, God, was taken into custody Wednesday at his home by members of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, and Justice Department said he was charged in a criminal complaint filed in the U.S. District Court in L.A. and is expected to make his first court appearance on Friday. The complaint alleges that Kim coerced several minor girls into producing sexually explicit photos and videos between 2022 and present. Prosecutors say Kim threatened to expose material to family members and others if the victims refused to provide additional images. Investigators believe Kim was active in an online extremist group known as 764, which the FBI describes as a network of nihilistic, violent extremists. Members of the group allegedly engaged in criminal activity, including the sexual exploitation of children. According to the FBI, so-called nihilistic violence extremists often target vulnerable people, particularly minors, using social media platform to share explicit images, graphic violence, and other disturbing material. The victims may be pressured into acts of self-harm, animal abuse, or sexual exploitation, the complaint says. Court documents allege that Kim not only solicited explicit content from minors, but also shared child sexual abuse material with others. In one instance, he allegedly boasted of his actions, calling himself an OG after being praised by another user. Agents said they had recovered several explicit images and videos during the search of his home. The complaint also includes statements from a minor who said Kim ran an online server where child pornography was created, shared, and traded. Victims were allegedly coerced into degrading acts of self-mutilation and sexual exploitation, according to prosecutors. Kim is known as online such as Risen and Lobster. Didn't we report on this exact guy, Shady?
Yep, we did.
Investigators said the FBI believes there are so many additional victims who have not been identified and urge anyone to call 1-800-CALL-FBI if you are a victim, guys. And if he's convicted, he only faces a maximum sentence of 20 years. I think it should be a hell of a lot. I think it should be millstones, Shady.
Yes, sir. I understand the sentiment 100%, but I could temper that perspective with a little bit maybe to broaden the horizon on what we're all seeing here. Yes, I understand that maybe this is a lighter sentence, but whenever you see a situation like this, if our FBI were working properly, whenever you see a situation like this, what you're going to see like people that are trying to get more information. People that are willing to give more information will get lesser sentencing. Usually due to an agreement where the whoever is doing the investigation says that this person has helped tremendously and this person is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So because of the help that this person's got. So my opinion is that some of these things that we're seeing today are because of some of the things that some of these people from 764 that they arrested a few months back or 6 months ago or whatever, whenever it was, 3 or 4 months ago, they're opening this up. This is broadening. It's getting bigger. We want the higher ups. I want the people that are out there making this stuff, making this material, putting it on the dark web. You know, everybody acts like that that you're allowed to go, you can go to the dark web and be that. If people were looking for you and trying to stop you from producing child pornography for real, like if the FBI were really working to try to do that, they would be able to find who is doing it. I guarantee it. So I'm hoping that is the track that they're on, and that this is an investigation actually working like an investigation should work in America.
Yeah, and this is Kyle Seraphin, who's a former FBI agent, threatened BX on BX_on_X on Twitter. DM'd her, this was March 30th. He told me that 764 is neither a serious problem nor a terror group nor satanic, and that I'm mentally ill for saying this. Then he claimed responsibility for getting me uninvited from a podcast and threatened that he and others will continue to actively attack her platform behind the scenes. Quote, when producers ask if anything you say has any legitimacy to it, there are a dozen people with actually credibility and reputation working in the space that advise to pass, and you can expect that to continue. Honestly, this is from BX. I considered not airing this out because I was in shock and scared. Why would a dozen people, presumably feds, behind the scenes telling large platforms that I'm crazy and not to interview me? Am I in physical danger? After my morning coffee, I decided to go public with this because evil thrives in the dark, and I've been face to face with most evil people imaginable during my journey without flinching. The only power they have is that which we give them. The evil is no different, and I will not be deterred. This is from BX again. She hopes her audience reads this with as much shock and fear and confusion as she felt when it happened. So let's go ahead and read this. This is DM 2BX on X from Kyle Seraphin. This is my olive branch. Seriously, you are wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about, and you will continue to get uninvited to do interviews and skipped over because people actually do vet fringe nonsense like what you espouse. The term Don Quixote was used by a journal I correspond with. You are truly lost, and all of your silly and desperately confused followers don't change my mind a bit. I've seen what the FBI looks into for terrorism. I am old enough to remember that satanic panic, which was 95% made up and hoaxed. You are either confused, got played, or you're verging on mentally ill. So feel free to publicly share this if it makes you feel big. Meanwhile, when producers ask if anything you say has any legitimacy to it, there are a dozen people who actually with credibility and reputation from working in the space to advise and pass, and you can expect that to continue. Well, you are now officially invited to come on our show, Shady Groove. How about that?
100%. And isn't that the same tactic? Why?
Same tactic.
How is that Kyle utilizing a different tactic than what has been used against this show for the last 7 years of us broadcasting? It's the exact same tactic. So what in the world is going on here? Like this has to do with connections to people who tell the truth. And people who tell the truth are targeted by the establishment that doesn't want the truth to come out. The idea that this guy can sit there and say that 764 is not connected to Order of Nine Angles and that there's no satanic connection to this, you literally, all you have to do is 3 seconds worth of research to see that this clearly has satanic overtones to all of this Order of Nine Angles 764 stuff. And let's just take it one step further. I propose that you are pretty much you're pretty much one of them. If you're one of them, is all I can tell you.
Yeah, exactly right. So John Nantz, Nantz, just posted this. Had a great time discussing this very important topic. Thanks for having me on. Thank you, Liberty, for getting this link. And guys, please go over there. I'm going to send the link here. Tell them that we sent you. Okay. Thank you, John. Thank him. Go over there, repost it, and go down there in the comments and tell them that In the Matrix and Shady Groove sent you, or the MG Show, whatever. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. It was great to have them on too. So I want to just go ahead and do this.
It's great to have somebody that's willing to. It's great to have somebody that's willing to like call these people out, right? I mean, don't you feel like we've been in this like all of these people have had all of this? It's much like the Democrats and the mainstream media. They've co-opted all of this, all of the area, they take up all the oxygen in the room, and their nonsense just permeates everything. And then the next thing you know, nobody can talk to one another because this is happening in the background. People are stopping people from talking. Why can people just because you don't think that what she's saying is true doesn't mean you have the right to go out there and screaming it because you don't have any proof that what she's saying isn't true. Just like he didn't have any proof that Alexis was connected to Mossad. Right. He just goes out there spitting. Just like Alex Jones doesn't know any of this stuff about whatever with Pam Bondi, but he just goes out there and says it anyway. Or Epstein just goes out there and say it. That is a problem in our country, and this show is trying to at least direct our audience towards things that we can prove.
So I want to just continue with this BX on X because John Nantz referred to it. This is the voicemail that Kyle sent her on March 30th of 2025. Kyle admits to getting her blacklisted from the Sean Ryan show by lying to the producer's credibility. But we have the whole voicemail here. But before I do that, Shady, let's go ahead and do this because we love our sponsors. This is it right here. This is the NCAA this time because the countdown is over. The rivalries are real, and the road to the championship begins on August 23rd. Westwood One Sports brings you every electrifying moment in the NCAA football, from the first snap to the final whistle. Top teams, big plays, unforgettable Saturdays. Don't miss a second of the action. Listen to NCAA football on Rumble.com, the Westwood One app, on WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. If it's sports, it's on Westwood One. All right, Shady. So let me go ahead and let's play this because, I mean, this is the kind of stuff. And by the way, we now have a confirmed connection, Shady. Yes. In fact, Joel Oatman is coming to the defense of Seraphin. Okay? This is what she says here. In their efforts to attack me, Kyle and his internet tough guy friend Joel Oatman, who is financed by Patrick Byrne, guys. and General Flynn have knowingly and recklessly traded personal information they believe to be mine, and same criminal pedophiles who have victimized me and my family for over a year. They are willfully placing our lives in danger. We have now a confirmed connection, Shady,
to the exact same tactics that's used against us, which we are actually the whistleblowers. These people are the gatekeepers.
That's right. Let's listen to the voicemail.
Yeah, I'm definitely not fixated. I got a phone call from Sean Ryan's show asking me if I knew anything about Becca. And I was like, yeah, I dealt with her a while ago. The stuff she said is completely unsubstantiatable. It is not anything that anybody gives a shit about that is a serious counterterrorism person. And it is a minimal credible threat. So, like, somebody who sits there and talks about it is off base, if not a bad faith actor. So I just said, you don't really need the clout and you don't need the clicks, so I wouldn't put her on my platform and have somebody exposed, because I haven't done too much digging, but it's pretty clear that it's full of shit because I spent several years doing counterterrorism. So they were like, okay, cool, like we were kind of getting that vibe too, so they dropped her, whatever. Then coincidentally, there was a satanic thing that happened in Kansas, Topeka, and I commented on it. And somebody tagged her in the thread to my comment. And I was like, that's weird. And then they said, yeah, maybe Catholic Vote needs to look into this. I said, no, Catholic Vote's not interested. Because they're not. Because I know the people at Catholic Vote. Because I used to work with them. So that was that. And then she must have responded to my post like over 100 times. Just this ongoing insanity, just fucking obsessively doing it. I've got her muted, so like I had to unmute every time, but there'd be like a dozen muted comments to every one that I would make about anything. So I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this chick? So she kept going at it, and then she brought in her little bot farm of losers or whatever it is, beta simps that fucking love her because she's an e-thought. So they did their thing. They just kept going and hounding and hounding and hounding. It's like, okay, fine. Whatever, dude, I'm over this. She said something like, I'm not even going to comment on Kyle Seraphin again, and then commented like another 12, 2 dozen times, because she just can't help herself, because she's nuts, dude. So anyway, that was that. And then I sent her DM, I was like, look, Olive Branch, I just don't want you to waste your time on something that's not a real threat, and you're mistaken. So I've talked to multiple CT people, I've talked to people that do shitloads of investigations, I've had 3 journalists reach out in the last 36 hours and make reference to your unhinged, like, compulsive posting on mine. So I'm just trying to save you the trouble. Don't waste your time with it, but, like, I'm done. I don't need anything else. I don't give a shit. You shouldn't waste your time on it, but do whatever the fuck you want. And then she was like, are you threatening me? Is that a threat? Like, that's a threat. You're threatening me, fed boy, blah, 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 blah. It's like, all right, fuck you, whatever. And then her people started doxing me, and then they started putting my address out online. So hopefully somebody thinks that's a good idea and shows up. It's my old address, so don't share that with anybody, but that's not my real address. But yeah, that's not cool. If you think you're fucking exposing my address, if you send someone to my house, I'll fucking kill them. Like, I will just defend my family very aggressively. I just got finished emptying a bucket of ammo today because I realized I haven't shot enough in the last while, so I went and did that. Anyway, then I looked into who she is, and, you know, she's 40, and she's a security guard, and she's got a state license, and she's gonna straight up get fucked for making a threat online, then turning around, and 5 seconds later, like a sock puppet that looks an awful lot like her, doxed her. So I've already talked to the sheriff's department. Turns out we live in the same county. She probably doesn't realize that, but I'm like 10 miles from her, and she should definitely not pick fights with people who take real things seriously. I don't play on the internet. I play in real life only. So anyway, that's it. I'm not obsessed. I could give a fuck, and she's probably going to get destroyed. I will be talking to the state licensing bureau about her tomorrow because she's a PI. She can't be doing that shit. You can't be fucking doxing people. She's already been kicked off YouTube for doxing people. And for whatever it's worth, 764, or whatever the fuck that thing is, it's not a real threat. It's not a tier 1 threat. It's not a banded threat. Not 1, 2, or 3. It might be a slightly local threat in some areas. It's just not a real thing. I assure you. It doesn't mean there's not people out there that don't have satanic, fucked up ideas that don't associate with whatever that number means. But I'm telling you, it's not widespread. It's not responsible for anything at large. Anything. And her references go back to like 1990s FBI articles. So give me a break. They were doing like PatCon back then and satanic panic for stats. So that's that. That's the full story. I'm I'm on my way back home after hitting the range and feeling like real human again.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, it sounded like a threat too, didn't it?
It was a threat.
Sounded very similar to the stuff we get, doesn't it?
It was exactly like the stuff we get. It's very interesting that he's connected to the exact same people that have been doing this to this broadcast for the last 7 years. It's 100% the exact same tactic. The stuff that they pretend like the stuff that we're saying isn't true, and then come to try to undermine our credibility by making things up. And then whenever we try to like see if there's some way that we can go after these people legally, everybody that's on the legal side, the lawyer side, tells us that we don't have a case. We don't have the ability to stand up. That's not really defamation, what they've been doing to us for the last 7 years. Well, I tell you what, it is, and I don't care what they say. And it's just because that we don't have millions and millions of dollars to go after these people is the only reason that we are not.
Yeah. We can't.
We can't. But we would if we had the means. I would.
We would if we could. We would if we could. Yeah, it seemed like a threat to me, says D Sweet. It does. You know, we're just playing, you know, I'm happy for Kash. Alexis is beautiful. Lynn MC. Yep, we agree. Susie Q, refresh. I have no sounds. But yeah, that happens all the time. But guys, you know, all we're trying to do is bring to, you know, Kyle Seraphin was a subordinate to the man that we just had on, the John Nantz, Nantz. I think he would know. Okay, I think he would know.
Well, I think that we could. I think that what is going on right now, this reorganization that is happening in our country, it's a top to bottom thing, guys. Like
Yeah.
this is whenever we say that we're here to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed, literally. Like this is literal. This is the reason that everybody's here. This is the reason you got Gavin Newsom out there willing to post a picture of himself holding a Q plus meme that to mock what happened over the weekend with the post by Donald Trump. And by the way, that lit up the whole network out there. And then the next thing you know, they're shifting the focus. When Donald Trump posts a meme about Q plus, the next thing you know, they're talking about how Flynn talks about the post that Trump made.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it has nothing to do with Flynn, you morons. It has to do with what Donald Trump is saying to you, and he's saying to the world, and he's explaining to the world that you are looking at Q plus, and all of the minions try to divert the attention back to the numbnut.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It really is crazy because they're doing it with a straight face, Jeff. They're doing it like. Well, I mean, I know there's people believing it, but I don't see how personally, but they do.
No. And, you know, it's because when you're on, you know, X or formerly known as Twitter, right, you know, you get wrapped up into BS. You're sitting there staring at your screens all day and you start believing crap that's crap, really.
You're never saying anything out loud to yourself.
Right. Go look in the mirror and say what they're saying. 17 pages for truth, 9-2 today. I like the number 11. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Qshaw, just because you deserve it. I wish I could do more. FYI, a car wash business went out of business in my city due to illegals being hired. Interesting. Qshaw, $100 Rumble rant. Thank you so much, my brother. I hope you're doing well.
Me
I
too.
break.
That's happening, by the way. That's happening here too. I'm seeing not as many food trucks, Jeff, in Southern Oregon. I'm just saying.
Yeah, those are good tacos too, weren't they? I mean,
I
geez.
have no idea. I would never eat in a food truck.
All right, so U.S. Director of Federal Housing, Mr. Pulte Shady Groove,
Our new hero.
is on a second criminal referral. This is what he said in regards to Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Let's just listen to this. Ready? Let's listen to this. This was just a couple hours ago on C-SPAN. Check it out. Pulte.
Referral for her. Why the second criminal referral since she's already been hired?
Because once we dug in more, we found more. And anytime we find more, whether it's on a criminal suspect or otherwise, we try to report it to people. So we reported it to the DOJ. She said that she had a second home, but then in her disclosures to the U.S. government, she called it an investment in rental property. Investments in rental properties are different than second homes. And back in that time frame, 2021, where she took out these 3 mortgages, you had different rates for these different types of classifications. So it's very concerning, and the DOJ will have to figure out what they do with that.
Do you think the president or the administration is going to name her replacement while this litigation's ongoing?
I have no clue. You'd have to ask the president that. My main focus is on getting rid of mortgage fraud and finding mortgage fraud no matter who commits it. If they commit it and we determine that it's within our purview to prosecute it, we will refer it over to the DOJ, and that's what I'm singularly focused on. So,
Are there other government officials you're looking into?
I don't. We're looking at a lot of different things. We refer criminally people every day, contrary to what people say. We refer people who are Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. But we're not going to be deterred from pursuing people. But the ones that we've made public or have been made public by other people are the only ones that we're prepared to talk about right now.
Tom Dempsey with News Nation. These attorneys for Ms. Cook are saying this is all just an effort to get interest rates lowered and that there was never cause to begin with for her to be fired. What do you say in response to that?
Well, Ms. Cook is the one who filled out the applications, not me and not anybody else that I know. So she needs to account for why did she take these two mortgages out. She took out a Michigan loan, and then 2 weeks later she goes and she takes out another loan for a property in Atlanta. She declares both of them as her primary residence. Then you go back 4 months from that, she took out another loan. We're now finding on a third property, saying that it was a second home when really she declared it as an investment property. So, this really has nothing to do with the Fed. It has much to do with public officials. If you're going to be in charge of the Federal Reserve, damn, you better sure know how to fill out a mortgage application. And boy, it's awfully weird that she potentially saved a lot of money by making so-called clerical errors, which were not clerical errors.
Do you know if she's still getting paid by the Fed or how that's working while you guys miss?
I don't know, but Jerome Powell, he's got to answer for why he's not coming out and saying this is bad. He's destroying the credibility of the Fed by not saying that mortgage fraud is bad. I mean, we have great career people. We have great people at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We have great people at the Federal Housing Agency. Why would somebody who's Jerome Powell not come out and say, you know what, if Ms. Cook did this, she should resign? So it's becoming more and more concerning by the day. And I say that because, not only from a legal perspective with mortgages, but obviously the mortgage market is very dependent on the credibility of the Fed. And so it's concerning.
It should be concerning. You can't work at the Federal Reserve and do mortgage fraud. You can't work. Look, it's fraud. Fraud is fraud.
Fraud is fraud, and if you were to do it, then you would be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But if the Federal Reserve Board person does it, the whole media comes out in support of them and acts like that it's the administration somehow doing something wrong. Now they've had to completely turn 180 degrees because over the weekend CNN has had to start to admit that yes, she did sign this. These are her documents. This is not fake. It's not pretend. It's not something. I'm going to propose that that all of these people that are members of the Federal Reserve Board are corrupt, and that more than likely this is a string, Jeff. You start to pull the string, and the whole damn thing starts to come unraveled because everybody's using the same tactics to get around. This is really ripe with irony here because it's Jerome Powell that's holding the rate at 6%. So the Federal Reserve Board is making you borrow on $35 trillion at 6% interest. And meanwhile, they're going around and pretending like, oh, well, this is my primary residence. And I get a half rate on the interest rate. And then you're getting multiple loans. Most people go to get a loan for a house, like one, maybe two, not three or four at the same time.
So you're trying to say that Federal Reserve Board member Lisa Cook doesn't like the interest rate, so she was forced to say that these are primary residents to get a lower interest rate.
Correct.
Make it make sense.
You can't.
You can't. Now, who lives in Lisa Cook's house? Let's go watch. You ready?
Let's go see. It's some guy at the table.
Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook has 3 homes and big troubles. She claimed to the banks that she lived at all of them, but real estate records show she listed 2 of them for rent. That's not legal. So Lisa must be living here in Ann Arbor at the 3rd house, right?
The door's dirty. There's a key lockbox right there. There's a white man at the dining room table. It's weird. I don't think she's married. How you doing?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. My name's Charlie. I'm a reporter. This house is in the news. I was wondering if Lisa Cook lives here, or do you rent?
Yeah, we're just renting, so we'll have to...
I'm sorry?
We'll have to talk to them.
Okay, you just living here?
Yeah.
Okay, just renting?
No.
I'm sorry?
You have to talk to the owner tonight.
Okay, the owner, would you have a contact number? Oh. Oh. We'll have to talk to the owner. They're just living here. Oh. Governor? Where do you live?
Yeah, and it was funny, that guy actually, he did say, we were just renting. He did say that, and he pressed him, are you renting? Are you renting? He said no comment. But just before that, the gentleman at the door did say, we're just renting.
Yep, he sure did. And man, you know, this is how we work around. What you're seeing is the work around Powell. You're watching Trump cook. We just had the one resignation from the Federal Reserve Board. There's 7 people total on that board. One resignation. Trump has already put forth the replacement. They won't. So far, they're not approving that nomination. Once this is going to be number 2 nomination, they're going to be trying to stymie and hold up. And I have a feeling that Mr. Pulte there is on the trail of maybe a couple of more big news coming or something, is what I heard. And I think that we shouldn't worry about anybody else's mortgage fraud until we make sure that those 7 governors on the Federal Reserve don't have any. They need to be investigated first. Then you look at other people with mortgage fraud.
So, Shady, I have a question. Is it legal for Jerome Powell to defy a presidential order by keeping Lisa Cook on his website as a governor?
Probably not.
Huh. Lisa Cook
fired.
Is cooked. She's cooked.
Wow,
guys.
That was like, more of this. We need like more cowbell, more people going to like the homes of the people that are claiming that they're primary residents that you know that they're not. I don't care if you're Chuck Schumer. I don't care if you're Nancy Pelosi or Maxine Waters or Adam Schiff. Every single one of these corrupt POSs are doing this. I 110% guarantee it. Where do you think Nancy Pelosi's doing with $100 million every year? You know, like, let's look through that portfolio. Let's see what kind of rates this crazy lady is paying.
So just so you know, I follow Nancy Pelosi's portfolio, and when she bought Nvidia, I'm actually glad that I followed that a little bit.
Did a little bit of investing on your own, did you?
A little bit of investing on my own. All right, so let's look at this, because I think it's also very interesting news. Because when Owen Schroyer left Infowars, he said that he left on the Wednesday, the day that what's his nut was on. Let's just go ahead and listen. Kyle Seraphin. So this is also relating to the show. Check it out.
Perfectly clear to Alex an hour ago. Now, I wanted to meet with Alex in the office tomorrow, and I told him that. I told him that last week after I left the studio. He texted me, and I said, Alex, let's talk next week. I said, I don't want to talk about it now. I'm done for the week. Let's talk next week. We communicated a little over the weekend, and then today I said, let's meet. Let's have a meeting tomorrow before your show, whenever you want. Let's meet tomorrow before your show, and maybe we can talk this out, work it out. And he said, no, let's just talk now. And so he called me. Now, my intentions, and I told him this, I wanted to go in this week. I wanted to go in tomorrow. And I wanted to finish this week, and I wanted to finish positively at InfoWars. And you know, I even said if he wanted me to kind of stick around like a satellite to go down with the ship, that I'd be willing to play some sort of a satellite role to go down with the ship and be a part of that and continue, you know, wearing the name on the front of the jersey for at least some semblance while it's still ongoing. And he didn't express any interest in that. And so he told me that he didn't need me and good luck. And that was that. That was that. So I wanted to make this announcement on InfoWars. I wanted to make this announcement with Alex. That actually meant a lot to me. That's what I wanted. I wanted to leave in a very positive fashion. I wanted to announce it to the InfoWars audience on the InfoWars airwaves. I wanted Alex and the crew and everybody to be there, and I wanted to shake Alex's hand. I wanted to thank him for everything. I wanted to just go down memory lane of all the things that we've done. But he wasn't interested in that. And he said, don't come in this week. So that was that. So now here I am announcing that
it's done. I will not be on InfoWars. I don't know if ever again. Won't be hosting the War Room this week. And I don't really know what else there is to say about that. Other than it's not how I wanted it to be, but I was left with no choice. Going down with the ship, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely interesting because the ship is going down.
Right.
The credibility of all of the people over there at InfoWars is absolutely ruined. Okay, and they all know that it's ruined, and all of this stuff that they're, like Alex is desperate to pretend like he has. What's going on actually is that Trump, I believe what has happened is Trump has actually cut off all of his clown associates. So he doesn't really have any internal connection anymore whatsoever to be able to say, go out and say, oh, I got this contact, I don't think he has a single person that is giving him inside information anymore. And that's why it's all just made up nonsense.
It is. Real quick, we just got a comment from somebody here. It's a great show today. I clipped some of the segments. Shady's 100% over the target as to why they scream to end the FBI. Yes. I just want to, just in full disclosure, we wanted to stay with Kyle Seraphin. We were trying not to bring up, I'll give you 3 stars in general, who we're talking about, but we were able to do it now. I kind of wanted to just stay away from that because I don't know if it's in his wheelhouse or not. I'm just trying to be respectful. But maybe we are onto something.
I think that we're onto something.
Yeah. All right. So
it's hard to not see the connection. And I think that everybody out there, we're looking to make connections here. Nobody's saying anything is rock solid, but it's a pretty damn rock solid theory.
It really is. It is. All right, Shady, let's see what we got over here. And then I want to play this other one, dude. You're going to love this, bro. But let me do this because we got one more real quick before we get out of here today. Set your clocks, mark your calendars, and buckle up for the best NFL primetime football action. Starting September 4th on Westwood One, you can catch all the bone-crushing hits, last-second heroics, and edge-of-your-seat action that the NFL Thursday, Sunday, Monday nights have to offer, whether you're tailgating, driving, or chilling at home. Don't miss a single snap. Listen to the NFL app, the Westwood One Sports app at westwoodonesports.com, westwoodonesports.com, or just say ALEXA. Open Westwood One Sports. If it's at the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Shady, check this out, dude. Alex Jones had a meltdown today. Check it out.
Kind of a Batman and Robin situation. I really think that they're both going to go on to do great things, but it's difficult.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree.
I didn't realize how upset you were.
It's totally normal to go and do innuendo that you've been censored and controlled and got to go because you're talking bad about Trump and this stuff. And then later, hours later, go, oh no, he didn't censor me. All set up to boost himself off of lying about me. I don't ever get involved in infighting, but I've known somebody 10 years and they've been my friend, but he's gotten really dark, didn't talk to the crew the last 2 years. And so it's like a different person. I'm not here to be the villain for somebody's lie. So wait till you hear his phone call to me yesterday. He literally talked to me like it was a crack whore and he was a pimp. He's like, yeah, well, if you're desperate, pay me more, I'll stay. But I'm going to promote my new show on InfoWars, huh?
Let's take the high road.
Really nice. I might do a week. I was like, man, this is really hurting my feelings, dude. No, it's all right. You don't have to come in. I hung up, started fucking crying. And then he goes on fucking air and lies about me. Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. I won't fucking take people stabbing me in the back anymore. Fuck you. Get ready.
So because that'll be clipped, you can follow me at Rex Jones News on Twitter, and that's Rex Jones News with a Z. Very important that you follow me on Twitter. Thank you. Emotions running hot. Again, decade of work. Totally understand both sides' emotions.
No, let's us break it down because we know exactly what's happening. Schroyer sounds like he was right on target with Alex Jones going against Trump, okay?
It does sound
Alex
like
Jones may or may not be behind the January 6th op to make you look violent. So is Owen Schroyer, and Owen Schroyer had jail time. Do you think Owen Schroyer might know a little something?
I think he totally might know a little something, and I think that he might be interested in talking about it, and that's the reason that you just saw that little thing right there from the queen in charge, if you will.
Yeah. Miss Seabear says, I hate public fights. Well, that's what happens when psychological operators are busted. They flip out like that, okay?
They do flip out like that, and man, the whole thing's a powder keg. The whole thing over there is a powder keg. So let's like look at the way Alex Jones acts like that. Do you think that he felt that way? How did you feel when you saw Alex turn against Trump?
Yeah.
What did Alex do whenever he said, "Oh, man, we can never vote for Trump"?
Yeah.
That's what he really thinks. And we know that's what he really thinks. And Owen has not been doing a good job keeping himself away from the nonsense, because Owen was throwing Trump under the bus about Epstein and calling her scam blondie also.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like Owen Shore, just full disclosure. I don't like
any of them.
InfoWars. I don't like Flynn. I don't like any of them. Is that okay?
I don't either. I like these people here. I like you, and not a lot else.
This is a Trump movement,
I like
okay?
Trump. Yeah.
Nobody else.
Nobody else.
Except for the people that Trump picked for his cabinet and to head up certain organizations. Is Flynn in any one of those?
Mm-mm.
I rest my case.
No, he
And why are people still on X arguing about this mofo? He's not in the administration.
Bro, they're out there like Drogo and Newsblast are out there yesterday, like taking pictures of Flynn that's commenting to Trump, commenting to the post that Trump made about the Q plus, and saying, "Oh yeah," Flynn's like, "Oh yeah, nothing can stop what's coming." Like all of it is so fake, man. And I'm telling you that the reason that they look like this is because they don't have any connections anymore. Their strings are cut. When Q said strings cut, that means that their connections to the inside line of the media and the government and what's going to happen next is severed. So because that line is severed, and Susie's not giving them any information, Miller's not giving them any information, Kash is not, Hegseth is not, so therefore they're flying blind, and that's why they look like complete idiots.
Blind eyes in the sky. It's a beautiful thing.
What a gorgeous thing. And it's almost like we knew it was going to happen one day, isn't it? It's almost like Corona offline.
It's almost like it.
It really is.
It's almost exactly like it. Wow. And I like this one. This is from Hole the Quout. I can't remember. I can't really say his name, but I love this. He goes, with breaking Dan Bongino arrest a member of the 764 California. The 764 group is global satanic pedophile and child abuse cult. But satanic pedophile rings are a conspiracy theory, Shady.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not really connected to high-level ranking members of the military.
No.
That's also a conspiracy, yeah. Like the people that are in those positions wouldn't be the ones that would be able to know where the trafficking lanes are and to move the goods and people for services and fees down through the trafficking lanes. It would be someone other than the generals at the top.
Yeah. And let's see. I did this weekend, and what I did is I watched this clip. Let's watch this clip first, and then I will dissect it a little bit. Shady, you ready?
We'll elaborate.
Yeah.
Yes.
General Kelly was not freelancing during that call when he talked about or hinted, General Flynn, that he wasn't freelancing during that call, that in fact he may have been making that call on behalf of the administration or the incoming administration. Would that be accurate?
No, it would be a mistake to conclude that. Remember, in the end, it was misleading the vice president that made the situation unsustainable.
Which the White House knew about last month. And yet yesterday you went on the air and said that General Flynn had the complete and full confidence of the president.
And General Flynn decided that he should resign last night, and the president accepted that resignation. The president is very loyal, and he's been carrying forward with his entire team very effectively, frankly. And at this stage, he accepted the resignation, and he's moving on.
But loyalty is one thing. Keeping a guy in a position of national security advisor who has communicated with the Russians and then misled the administration about the contents of that communication is entirely a different thing. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Well, Matt, what I would tell you is the president and I had a conversation wherein he referred to the comments made by Charles Krauthammer on a different network last night, that it is not one communication or one incident necessarily. In this case, it is the misleading to the vice president and also the inability to remember, as General Flynn started to clarify his remarks and say, I can't remember, I can't recall. I think that was his clarification over the weekend. I can't recall whether or not the information that was provided to the vice president that others in the administration had repeated as well, whether or not that in fact was the whole truth.
Was General Flynn the right pick in the beginning?
The president chose him, and and he, was very loyal, and he worked very hard, and he had a 30-plus year career in the military. I've talked to General Flynn on a number of occasions about that career.
Are we live?
Isn't it kind of surprising that with that 30-year plus career in the military, a guy who was about in December to be named National Security Advisor would not understand or realize that phone calls with a Russian ambassador are routinely wiretapped by U.S. intelligence officials?
He knew it.
That anything he said on that call might come back to haunt him?
Well, you're presuming what General Flynn did or did not know. But the key here, and I want to repeat it, the key here is the misleading of the vice president and others.
Lying.
The incomplete information or the inability to completely recall what did or did not happen as reflected in his debriefing of particular phone calls. That really was what happened here.
All right. So let's just go through this real quick, Shady, because I went through all the Flynn posts.
Boy, this sure did turn out interesting.
What was Flynn's background? Military intelligence, right? Military. He was Afghanistan, okay, with McChrystal. Focus on Flynn. Who interviewed Flynn? Why did Flynn take the bullet? Rubber bullet? Rubber bullets sting but do not last. He did not depart on his own terms. Think Flynn, 30. FBI agent 1P. Okay, one is struck. Pienka is Pienka. Flynn interview, ... Who asked Ambassador Kislyak to call Flynn, set up, FBI entrap, plus FISA, late, justify? Flynn's first strike was designed to cripple. 2, to prevent exposure of illegal acts, Hussein, White House chain of command through national security intel discovery. Attempts to frame Russia, POTUS, optics are failing and will soon be exposed.
So right there, put it back up for a second if you don't mind. I think this is great. So will you reread the line that's all caps right there?
Who asked Ambassador Kislyak to call Flynn, set up, FBI entrap, plus FISA, late, justify?
There you have it. That right there to me says that the person that was instructed to tell Kislyak to give Flynn a call was set up perfectly so that they could monitor the call, and then Flynn was to not tell Donald Trump about the whole thing going on so that it could become a media story. So Flynn didn't not tell Trump about the Kislyak call because he forgot. He didn't tell Trump about the Kislyak call because he was trying to get it in the media quicker. He was trying to get it. He was trying to get it into the media before the Trump administration could get their mind or their legs under them about the story that was developing, and it further perpetuated the Russia BS narrative, guys. That pretty much pushed it all the way to the inside, like past the surface layer whenever the whole Kislyak thing came up. And that quote right there, like Jeff went through and took all the lines that were relevant to Flynn, put them together for you, and boy, oh boy, I mean, that paints a heck of a picture, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah. Oh, but Flynn was mentioned. And I'm sorry about that, Shady.
Well, I mean, you made it to 10:56 today. You did good.
I did it earlier today, too. Did you hear it?
I didn't hear it earlier.
All right, real quick. Facebook took our Facebook stream down at 1:40 into the show. There's the Facebook link. Go ahead and repost that, guys, if you're on Facebook. I don't have Facebook anymore. Get back on the battlefield, everybody.
They took it down the other day, too. The one that was the show that I reposted. I think it was Friday or something. I saw this when I was looking through last night. I think they took that show down, too.
Do they like Seraphin? Is that what it is?
I'm not sure, but maybe Seraphin and Mark Zuckerberg have something going on. We don't know.
Very interesting.
It's very
wow.
They're a dime a dozen, it looks like.
Wow.
The main thing they don't seem to like is us broadcasting.
No.
Why do they get to why does this guy get to go out there and scream and yell about Kash Patel and his girlfriend and scream that she's all this and all that without any proof? I mean, whenever we brought to you and showed you all of the evidence against Kate, that was pretty substantial, wasn't it? Why doesn't Kyle have an old address of Alexis living where there was a Mossad hotbed? I mean, Kate, the Awakening, was literally living in a house that housed Mossad agents.
That's fake. Oh, you guys.
I'm telling you, I can show you this.
I mean, not worked at PragerU. Lived in the house.
Lived in the rental house behind the main house while she was being naked for Playboy, and her parents literally worked for Hef. Her father flew the planes that would fly the prostitutes into Playboy Mansion, but I'm sure that there's no connections.
You're good. No,
And just
no-
like I've told
just like I've told you, Shady. The
Just
truth
like
is
you
bad
told me.
enough. Monday, congratulations on your trophy for winning the senior tour.
Junior, senior, junior, senior. Thank you so much.
Very proud of you. Everybody give Shady a 17 for winning, and we love you. Yeti, thank you so much. The truth is bad enough, guys. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll
God
see you
bless you.
tomorrow. God bless
We'll
you all.
be here.
Trump, big announcement at 2. We'll catch it tomorrow. God bless you all.
Thank you.
And just like I've told you for many, many years, you don't have to lie about things. You don't have to sensationalize them. You don't have to make anything up. You don't have to invent figures. The truth is bad enough. The truth's bad enough. And if you tell the truth, you have credibility. And credibility means people will listen to you. Credibility means things will be tended to. When you lie and people find out that you're lying, and it's easy, it is so easy to discover, then you have no credibility. You become a liar. You become somebody with no confidence factor. You become a rumor monger. You become a minion of the old, who was it? Who was it that was billed as the great deceiver? Wonder who that was. See, whenever you spread a rumor, whenever you tell a lie, whenever you stretch the truth or sensationalize something, and I don't care what the reason is that you do it, you become an ally of the great deceiver. Somebody called him Heinrich Himmler. Somebody else called him Lucifer. Somebody else called him Satan. You can call him anybody you want. But listen to me very carefully. He's not anybody I want around me. His minions are not anybody that I want to know or be associated with or hear from. His minions and allies and supporters are not the people that I care about. You understand? You want to be on his side? Stay the hell away from me. Don't call me. Don't write me. Don't reference me. Don't email me. I don't want anything to do with you. If you're a spreader of rumors and lies and disinformation and sensationalization and all of this other bullshit. Do you hear me, sheeple? I don't know why it makes people so angry. You know, if all get off your butts and do the same research that I do, you would know the same things that I know, and you shouldn't be angry or jealous or upset. What you should be is thankful for having forewarning so that you can act upon it. But do you ever act upon anything? Have you ever? Will you ever? That's the question. That is the hinge upon which the door to the future operates. And you don't know that. You don't give a damn, probably. Because to oil the hinge and make the door work and make it all better, you gotta get up off your ass and do something. Oh, heaven forbid you have to do that. Oh my goodness, you might even have to take some kind of personal risk. You might even get on somebody's list. Oh, people might even start to respect you because you cease to become worthless.
Ha!
Who am I to dream like that? Come on, Bill. I mean, you're really getting away with yourself here, dreaming like that. Come on.
Come on, Bill, get real.
www.mg.show. Boom.